2, 1. What is up, guys? This is the Worship Leader Podcast. I'm Terry.
And this is Josh.
How y'all doing out there in all of the lands? I'm not gonna name them all. In the metaverse, we'll just do that.
You know where you at.
You know, you know where you at. Yeah, that's right. We usually catch up, but I don't. We're shooting this the day after,
Literally.
just because time. Like, we shot the episode 2 weeks ago. We shot it yesterday, and then 2 weeks later, we just shot the next day.
We're trying to get on top of it.
Trying to get on top
holidays.
of it. Yeah, it is the holidays, and so not a whole lot of. Fix my light. I'm sorry. I'm a stickler about this stuff. Now what was I about to say?
I don't know. I was just thinking as a catch up. I slept and I had not one but 2 bowls of cereal.
Oh,
that's where I'm at.
Oh, okay.
That's my catch up.
This morning when you woke up, you had 2 bowls of cereal. Hey,
that's my catch up.
It's Thanksgiving season. We'll expand it from day to season. Just eat as much as you want in this season. Oh,
it's a way of life.
Yeah, it is. It's a way,
of life.
It's a way of life. It is definitely that. And so, yeah, like I've been tracking my sleep. That Fitbit I was talking about, I got it in. And
I forgot to say something about that. It looks nice.
Yeah, well, thank you. I like it. I track my sleep on it, and it turns out I'm awake about. I don't know how they do this. I'll just take their word for it. But it turns out I'm awake about an hour and a half during the night. Oh, not consecutively, but I wake up for different
like
times.
A whole just space and time.
Yeah, staring at the wall,
just mad.
So when I think I go to bed, I think, I get in the bed at this time and I wake up this time. I'll get this amount of hours of sleep. It's not that at all. Like,
that actually explains a lot.
Hour and 15 minutes, I'm up, so I can subtract an hour and 15 minutes
from whatever you're sleeping.
From whatever time that I think that I'm sleeping.
That actually makes some sense, because there have been times when, like, I go to bed at a good time before midnight. And for those of you who know me, a good time used to be like 2 o'clock or 12, but before midnight, and like I will wake up and I'm just like, man, it feels like I only got like 5 hours. Now it's weird because like I could actually like narrow down about how many hours I feel like I got, but it felt like I only got about like 5 hours, and I'm just like, but it should feel like 7 or 8. So it's just like, it's not making sense.
This is not making sense.
Maybe I was that tired.
And this is one of the things that I found out, that like we put Viv and Lou to bed in their own separate beds, but they've got in this thing to where they get up in the middle of the night and they come in and they get in the bed with us. Which when that happens, sleep wrecked. That's where that hour and 15 minutes, hour and a half
they took it.
come from. They took it.
It belongs to them now.
Wake up with a foot in my face or a hand in my face or something, and then it's like, the amount of
you
bed
crunched up like this.
Yeah, you crunched up. And then now Lou, he does not like to sleep with cover on. I love to sleep with cover on. He'll kick it off of him. So now I have to sleep like way down here and put him up there. It's a lot.
That's stressful. That's stressful.
It's a lot. But that's probably where a lot of my sleep deprivation
probably
is coming from. So
moving feet and hands and trying to put the cover back on half of your body.
All kinds of stuff. All kinds of stuff.
It's crazy.
And so that's kind of been, I guess, a thing with me that's kind of been going on. And the little luncheon thing is today. So we talked about it the last podcast, but today we'll be going to the Thanksgiving feast, they're calling it, at my kids' school. So I'm excited about that. That'll actually be in a couple of hours, I think, or something like that. It'll be pretty soon. So I'm excited about that. Not a whole lot else went on between today. Oh, I had a salad. I'm just talking.
You had another salad?
No, I did not have another salad. I had that one salad.
I was about to say,
then I was like, that wasn't enough.
Oh
so I came back and I ate more chicken. We have some little noodle things. It's like almost wonton with like seasoned like Asian seasoned like pork and all that kind of stuff. And like it is. So I had a couple of those.
So it was like a healthy ramen type thing.
No,
Oh,
it was
okay,
not.
okay.
I wish it was because I brought out actual ramen, which is like 300 calories for that little pack, and then
It's a
put
lot
some
of calories,
eggs in
though.
it. Woo, man, eggs in it, and then put a little soy sauce. This is my wife's idea. Some eggs, some soy sauce, and the packet. Oh man, it was so good. And I ate one and a half of those, and I ate some of those little dumpling things. So that salad, I just kind of negated it, I guess.
Honestly, well, you tried.
I tried.
You got the fiber.
I tried.
That's what's important.
I tried.
You got the fiber.
So that was. I mean, it was good, but sometimes sometimes that stuff it's got a lot of sodium in it, and it kind of dries you out. Like that. You ever
just get some Gatorade?
have you ever done the ramen stuff? Or kinda a little bit or no?
No, but me and my brother used to eat a lot of ramen, like a lot.
Oh yeah.
like,
Okay, so
lot.
you've eaten it before.
We probably could have got gout. Like no lie, it was pretty bad.
And it
was like a breakfast, lunch, and dinner type deal. It was
I
not
went through
healthy.
a time like that too. Yeah,
Wasn't healthy. But I mean, hey, when it's cheap and that's what you have in the house, and it takes less than 5 minutes to make. What do you do?
My kids love ramen. They love it. They'll like, we'll fix it for them when we do fix. We don't do a lot of ramen here just because it's not the best for you, but we have some now.
But it's good to you.
Yeah, exactly.
It's good to you.
Exactly. When you start putting in all the other stuff, and it's like they like it so much, like it gets quiet at the table.
Oh.
And all you hear is like them like.
That's a big
eating
deal,
noodles.
y'all.
That's a big
That's a
deal.
huge
when it
deal.
gets quiet at the table, that is a big deal.
Huge deal.
But it there's a lot of sodium in it. It kind of dries you out. You're drinking and it just dries you out. And one of the things I like to do when things get a little dry is I like to use pure Gianna when things get dry, because if you see the table,
not see that coming.
if you see the table,
What?
if you see the table here, there's a couple of new products
That is a gift.
on the table. There's a couple of new products on the table right here. I'll let you.
Oh my
explain.
gosh, that is a gift.
I caught him by surprise.
That is a
I knew it.
gift.
I saw it coming, so I had to.
Oh my gosh. Woo. My gosh, he got me, y'all. So we have a soap that it's got like little rose petal
look at this.
bits in it,
I don't know
and
if
it's
you
actually
can-
made in the form
of a rose, and it's so nice. This is soap, right?
Yes.
Okay. Cool.
And
deal.
then we have a body scrub.
A
Yes.
body scrub, and some soap.
Yes.
And this is, again, it's all natural. We don't have to worry about the toxins. It's so
Yes.
like, Josh, man, I say this all the time, and I tell you all the time, but I'm impressed. Like this is real. This looks like something you would buy in Bed Bath and Beyond. Like it's cool. It looks good, smells good. This is some pure Gianna. Big things coming. I'm
Super
telling
excited.
you. I'm telling you. Excited about it. I'm
Super
excited about it
excited.
too. So, if you're in need of soaps and lotion and cream, body butter, this is an oil, right?
Yes.
This is an oil. All of this. Oh yeah, I did use some of this
Mm-hmm.
this morning, and your wife told me, she was like, "You don't need a lot," and I was
You
like,
really don't.
"You don't." And so I took what I thought would just be a normal amount, and I put it on. I was like, "Wow, this is like
Yeah,
covering
it spreads.
everything."
It spreads like
yeah.
really, really good.
You don't just a little bit will do the trick. So
I had to really adjust because I'm used to using like lotion where you
yeah,
like,
exactly.
And so
that was
like
my
going
deal.
to the body butter is just kind of like, okay,
And
I just need this little bit.
And one thing I really liked about it, now that I've used it,
Mm-hmm.
I can talk about it. One thing that I really liked about it was like I put it on, and it's all natural, so that is great. And I put it on, and it was like this. It's like when I put it on, it was like an oil, but then it began to like.
Yes.
It began to like soak into my skin,
And that's
like
what I like about
moisturize
it,
my
too.
skin.
Mhm.
And that lotion kind of just lays on top, and then you put water on it, it gets all slimy and all
kind
that.
of balls up like.
It's not permeable at all. It doesn't go in, but this is what I used was the body butter.
Mm-hmm.
Like I put it on, and later it like went into it, like moisturized from the inside out, I guess, and it still looks good. So that I'm telling y'all, this is good stuff. I'm telling y'all, this is good stuff. Y'all need to check it out. Testimonials. Yeah. That's right, testimonials. And so and if you have bought some, I'm sorry if I'm just let me know if I'm stepping on toes or whatever.
It's all right.
If you have bought some, one of the things Josh told me is that they're like, this is a business that is up and coming, and they're building. So if there's feedback on things that they can do to improve, let them know. They love this kind of thing.
Please message us, because we want to know. We want to know your thoughts. Want to know the good stuff, bad stuff, all of it. We want to know everything. Yes.
Know all of the things. So this segment was brought to you by Pure Gianna. Go check it out. We love it. Check it out on Facebook.
Yes.
And we talked about yesterday. Well, yeah, yesterday. Last week. Yeah. Last week we talked about a couple weeks ago.
Yesterday. Last week. Last year. One of those.
We talked about engaging people a little bit.
Yes.
So I just kind of wanted to talk about that a little bit. So what are some of the kind of, or I can go first if you need me to, but I've been talking like crazy. I just want to give the viewers and listeners a break from my voice, because I'm talking like crazy.
Oh my God.
But I'm excited. So what are some of the things that you've done to engage people? Because junior high, you do a lot, and that requires a lot of.
It does.
It requires almost more engaging than it does like worshiping, because like it seems like a huge part of the, for lack of a better word, battle is getting them engaged in order to do the things that we're here to do. But if you don't get over that hurdle of engaging junior hires, it seems like it seems like you can fall short on that. Is that
yes,
true?
That is very, very true. Because like there's sometimes when it's just kind of like you can just do it and everybody just gets into it and it's just like, yes. But then there's other weeks when it's just like if you don't engage, it will not happen. And that's just point blank period. If you don't talk, if you don't and I mean, like, really, it doesn't have to be like this long like monologue of stuff. You break out some like long scroll and you're just like, here. You don't have to do all that. It's literally just like you welcome people. You maybe talk about worship a little bit. Since I'm with a more a younger crowd, since I'm with a younger crowd, I from time to time will actually kind of cover some of the basics of worship and kind of give an explanation, especially when we have when we have a lot more of like the younger side. I'll cover more of like the basis of just like why we lift our hands, why we clap, because a surprisingly large amount of people don't know why we do that. They know that we do that, they know when to do it, but they don't really understand the power behind it. And so it's just like, even though they're doing it, it's kind of like going through the motion of doing it. And so like when you explain it, it's almost like this light bulb goes off and it's just like,
that's what I'm supposed to be doing here. I thought we were just standing and listening to music.
I mean, and honestly, like it's like when it's, and I tried, it's this weird thing, because it's like you have to find this cross between like being direct but not rude at the same time. But it's like just saying like, this is what we came to do, this is why we do what we do. And like 9 times out of 10, whenever we do that, that helps tremendously, because it gives focus. It kind of snaps everybody back into like, okay, this is what we're doing. We're not just going through the motions, whatever. We're not just, waiting for them to, whatever. Yeah. So it helps a lot. One thing I have really had to learn to do is own my awkward, because surprise, surprise, I'm an extremely awkward person. So I had to learn to accept that and actually use that to my advantage. And it actually helps a lot, because it helps you feel the space better, because like you don't feel the pressure of having to like do this whatever thing, you just get up and you just start talking, or you just start teaching, or you just start, you do something. And I notice whenever I own my awkward, it helps other people own theirs.
Yeah.
Because whether we talk about it or not, it's, especially like in smaller groups, it can get very awkward.
Yes.
Worshiping in front of other people, especially when like your personality is a lot more reserved. It helps whenever somebody just engages that side of you.
It does. And one of the things I do, when you talked about a smaller crowd, things being awkward, one of the things I do is I attack it head on. Like I talk to the people, especially in a smaller crowd, because it makes things more personal. So I'll just say, this is a small group and it's got the potential to be very awkward if we don't, like, I'll be saying this while I'm playing. I'm like,
you got to.
If we don't engage and we don't come here to do what is meant to be done in a church service, to hear from God, to praise Him, connect with Him, so that our spirit can be connected with Him, and so that we can, first of all, praise Him, and also connect so that we can get something, during the Word. That's why we're here. And if we're just standing here looking and I'm just singing and we're not engaging, then that lessens the chance of that happening. And so I don't say it like that, but
it's the truth.
Fewer words, but it's the truth. I just engage them in that way in smaller crowds. And now in bigger groups, I tend not to do that, because I feel like that kind of thing can, I don't know. I just don't do it.
It's weird, because I feel like with bigger groups, you kind of have to really, really feel it out.
Yeah,
Because there's such a mix. Like, the bigger the group, the greater the mixture of people there are, and it's just kind of like, I don't know. The engaging could work for one part, but then you could inadvertently like end up checking somebody else out who's actually already in it, and it's like, oops, well, I just kicked them out of it. Like,
I was over there worship till you started monologuing.
It was in ninth heaven somewhere, and this is like, oh, like, so I don't know. I guess it's one of those things where it's just like, especially like if you're singing at a particular place frequently, your crowd, your audience, and so what works and what doesn't work as far as like engaging, and when to engage, and at what part to engage.
And it's definitely something that's trial and error, and you have to learn. Because awkwardness, there can be a lot of awkwardness. A lot. There can be, but it's just something especially if you're new at it and you haven't done it a lot as far as leading, it's just something you have to embrace, and you have to have a little awkwardness up front, and then you learn how to maneuver. You learn how to maneuver, and you learn how to move, and things get better. Things definitely get better.
It does get more comfortable.
Yeah,
it does. It really does. I know it doesn't seem like it will, but it will.
It definitely does get more comfortable. And another thing in like engaging people that I kind of wanted to touch on was like physical engagement, because a lot of the times our facial expression and our physicality and moving and all of that engages ourselves, and it also engages others, because people are going to mirror you. Like if I'm singing about the joy of the Lord, and we're singing a high energy song, and I'm just like stone faced and no movement, then that tells something to myself subconsciously, and it tells very consciously to other people. It tells something. So that's like physically, that's something I've been getting better at. That's something you're really good at. Like,
that was a process.
That's something you're really good at, and it's something I find myself getting better at, because I needed to get better at it. And it's something that's definitely needed. I guess if you have a pie chart, I don't know amount of it is, but there's different slices.
Imagine with us.
Yeah, imagine a pie. And so there's different pieces of that pie, you know, and physical worship and facial expression, all of that is a slice of the pie. And you have like vocal conversation and vocally engaging people. I think that's a part of it, because sometimes when you're singing, sometimes it's appropriate to stop singing and to say something. I don't know what that something is, you know, whatever God lays on your heart to say. You know, there's all these different pieces of the pie, and of the engagement pie, I guess you would call it. And so pie. And so, you know, you have to make sure it's not one big thing. There has to be separate slices.
Yeah. And honestly, I think I'm glad you brought that up, because it's like everybody has their strengths. I feel like, whereas it's like there's some people, they are really good at engaging. Other people are really great at body language and so on and so forth. But like, it would be a good idea to get an honest look at yourself and just really just see, okay, what are my weak points? What am I strong in? Yes, to, you know, help encourage, get some confidence. But also, like, look at, okay, so what am I weak in?
Yeah.
Because as worship leaders, I think it's always good to, I mean, like, yes, be content, and yes, be comfortable in your own skin, but also don't get stagnant and just get stuck at where you're at, where it's just like, okay, what I'm doing is good enough. No, like, be improving.
Yeah.
And so it's just like, look at the different areas that you engage and say, like, okay, what can I be doing better here? What can I be doing better here? And then ask somebody trusted that is nice.
Key.
Yes.
It's nice.
Yes. Because, feedback. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, feedback, it can be helpful. Constructive criticism. There we go. Constructive criticism. Is your
criticism.
friend.
This was a long time ago. And I don't think I've told this story before, but there's always new listeners. That's one thing I've learned. There's always new listeners. So if you tell the story 5 times, 5 different people will hear it.
This will probably be the first time they hear it.
Probably the first time they hear it. So I was talking about feedback. I was, this was years ago when I was leading, this was more these were people that were not as churched people, and so I was talking, and I did quite a bit of talking at that time, because it was, you know, I feel like it was necessary to talk, just because they did not know what what was appropriate during worship. And when I say appropriate, I don't mean appropriate as in like doing things like being crazy and not crazy and rolling on the floor. I don't mean appropriate like that. I guess they didn't know what was standard.
Yeah.
Standard's a better word for appropriate.
Like what am I doing in this space of time?
What should I be doing?
What is going on?
To praise God. And so I talked a lot, and so I had a person who was more churched and more used to it, and this goes to show you about the whole bigger crowd thing. This was a smaller crowd, but the bigger crowd thing, how this proves what you were saying is true, because this person knew, and they knew what was appropriate. They were a high level worshiper, I guess. And so after things were done, they were like, "Less talking, more worship."
Okay.
And that's the way they said it.
Okay.
Next time. So that's why you watch who you ask. And I didn't ask. This was unsolicited. This was less talking.
Oh, we love it.
More worship.
Oh, we love
it.
And
I did take it into, it hurt. I took it into consideration. And and I was a little, I wasn't snappy at the person, but in my mind I was like, well, blah 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 blah. But we should take all things into consideration. When somebody gives us some feedback, we should take it into consideration. I feel like, yeah, I could have improved. There's always times where you could have improved. I felt like, I talked more just because it was laying a lot of groundwork. Yeah.
Yes.
There was
trying to set a foundation.
Yeah. Yeah, and then later you'll have to do less talking and you can do more. But on the front end, you do more talking and ease them into the worship. And that was my point behind doing all of that. But yeah, that was an experience where somebody gave me some feedback, and I could have possibly needed, definitely, because we all need feedback, and I probably did needed some, but it hurt a little bit. And that's the thing with feedback.
Yes.
It does hurt a little bit. Sometimes you get it in that way where people are very direct, and sometimes you get it in better ways.
We love it.
And so we have to within ourselves be able to take that and
it's just like, it's feedback, constructive criticism. It's gonna be okay.
it's gonna be all right. Yeah, it's so yeah. That was I guess a kind of crazy little story about doing all of the things and the feedback and stuff. So
yes, dang nabbit. And now it happened to you yesterday, and now it happened to me. I had it. It was literally like sitting right there, and it just like flew away. I was gonna say with the engaging. Oh gosh. Well, I'll go on to the next one. Being aware, and this is something that I had to work on like a lot, because like I know for me, one of my major weaknesses is like I would be like gone. And I would not be aware of what was going on in the room, which is great for you. But like when you're trying to like purposely lead people, like some people will go there with you. Many people won't, because they don't know how.
You're like, whoa, that was some great worship. You look up there, everybody's just looking at you.
Like, what was he doing up there?
I was praising and worshiping. Yeah, that's good. Being aware of that, that's very good. Yeah, that's
because it's just like, I know, like especially working with, I'm super thankful working with junior high, just because it has made me so aware of some things. Just because like if it doesn't work, they don't hide it. Yeah. Like it sounds extremely terrifying, but it's actually a wonderful learning tool, because like I found out, like going back to what I had said earlier, like if I don't engage them and I don't talk, if I don't do anything, then honestly a lot of times nothing will happen, just simply because like sometimes they are waiting for that signal, or they're waiting for that push, or they're just waiting for something. And so, and I don't necessarily do it like all the time where it's just like bringing out the cattle prod kind of thing every single time, but it's just like I'll semi-frequently try to talk some stuff through, even if it's just like, who are we here to worship? Because sometimes we just you come into a service, whatever service it is, and you just get into it, and you just get into the song, and you kind of you can almost forget like, I'm here to worship God.
Yeah.
And you forget like, you get caught up in like the singing and like, oh, who's leading this Sunday, or who's on the praise team this Sunday, or something like that, or ooh, that drum player is playing real. Like there's so much stuff your attention can draw into unintentionally. Right. Like you don't do it on purpose, but it's just like sometimes having that like snap back of like, hey, this is what we're here to do, and that sometimes just doing that is enough to get people back on track. Exactly.
And that gets me to thinking, like I say this, but say it again just because new listeners, like whenever people come into church, adults alike, especially adults, they usually, when you come into church, it's coming in the church not out of a prayer room.
9 times out of 10.
9 times out of 10 is coming into church out of getting your kids ready, especially if you have kids. It's coming out of getting your kids ready.
It's a whole nother problem.
You put on their clothes and they spit up on it, and you're like,
or they're screaming because they wanted donuts, but you don't have time for donuts because you tried to get them up 30 minutes ago, and then they decide to sleep in, and so now it's like, you're hungry, they're hungry, everybody's mad.
That's more my problem. Like the little baby problem is the spit up, but my problem is like with our kids is they want to bring in this big noisy toy and that they were playing with in the car, and it will not fly in church, and so they're mad, upset, crying, whatever. And so you're in the church after that, or into church after. I speak on kids because I know kids because I have them, so I speak on that. And that's usually the dynamic with us. It's like something with the kids.
Or we can be honest. Your spouse got on your nerves this morning.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
They got up. They happened to get up earlier than you, and they're having a great morning. And they turned on the light, and you're just like, all of a sudden you're open, and you're just like, who woke me up? Who woke me? And so then you're coming off of that.
Yeah, definitely. And you can be coming off of the spousal. Spousal.
Yes.
It's a word.
It's a word.
Believe me, don't look it up. Trust me, it's a word. Spousal. You be coming off of the spousal thing.
Yes. Yes.
And that could be a distraction. So people coming in, you know, they come in off of a lot of that stuff, and so they need a. What were you talking about before?
What is
the
it?
wake up,
the snapback.
The snapback. Yeah, they need the snapback from that, because it's like all of this stuff has been going on, and now it's time to worship, and your body's here and like, let's worship, but your brain's like, nope, I'm still back at the house, in the bed or whatever, you know, hitting the snooze button.
Yep.
So it's good to have that snapback to engage people in. That was a really good point. And so all of these things are engagement, and there's a ton of things, but we may need to start landing this plane, because
bring the landing gears down.
Bring the landing gears down, because we actually have some that dinner thing and then something else before that. So we're gonna bring the landing gears in. I can't even remember all the points we talk about. I used to write out points. I know. We just free flowing. We've just been free flowing it. So the little pie chart, it's good to have like all of the things. I know one of them we talked about was the snapping people back out of. We talked about the expression,
body language. Yeah.
Body language. That's a good way to engage people. Actually talking, and like in smaller groups, you can be a little more intimate. You can talk a little more, and you can be a little more,
make it personal
and less like, I guess, like in the day of streaming, whenever everything's like out to 1 million people, you can be less of that and more like engaging to the people, to the audience.
Or maybe even don't, because sometimes
right.
Sometimes making it personal is like what that person is needing to see on a streaming type platform. I guess is a good way to put it. Sometimes they need that.
Yeah, that's true. Sometimes
brings them in.
I know for me, anytime I can feel that something is personal and that somebody is sharing, like, I guess, themselves, it's a lot more meaningful to me. And so that's sometimes you can do that in that, because it helps me out, definitely. I know that. And what were the other? Is there any other things?
Honestly, I don't remember. I think we covered all of them. I think. Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
And if not, we'll throw them in another episode somewhere.
It'll be fine. Repetition is the best.
Repetition is the best learning tool. I still know. Call 1-800-551-8900. Diesel Driving Academy. Don't know why that repetition
that in years.
Repetition. Like I could sing you so many jingles.
It is burned into your brain.
Burned into my brain. That's probably not even a company anymore. I probably call that number. But I still remember the number. So repetition is the greatest. So we're gonna repetate it.
Repetate it.
That's a word too. Don't look it up.
Don't look it up. Take our word for it. Take our word for it.
Repetitive it. We're gonna repetitive it. Repeat it. I just took repeat and said repetate. We will repeat
it into this giant.
we will repeat it. What's
Oh my
wrong
gosh.
with me? That's
I love it.
crazy. So yeah, guys, it has been great, guys. We enjoy. This is a shorter episode just because we have some things going on. So make sure y'all check us out. Check us out on Spotify, on YouTube, on Facebook,
Yes.
on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, all of the places.
Yes.
Check us out, like, subscribe. It helps us to get the word out and get it to other people.
Yes.
So share it. And also, Pure Gianna, go check out the Facebook.
Yes.
Check out all of the things they have great things coming. Excited about it. They're tweaking some things, and some things they have ready to go, and some things. So go see what they have on the Pure Gianna Facebook. Go check it out. Inquire about any of the things you might like. We have soaps, we have the oils, we have this is body butter, which is just like lotion, and we have scrubs, which is good for exfoliation.
Yes, he can say the word. I can't. I really don't know why I can't say that word.
So yeah, go check it out and check us out. It's been great. We enjoy it. We'll see you guys in a couple of weeks.
Yes.
Peace.
Peace.